Welcome back to the Valley Hoops Insider podcast, part of the Valley Hoops Insider website. I'm Harry Schroeder. Scott Nagy joins us today, the Southern Illinois University basketball coach. And Scott, appreciate your time today. Carving out time for us, we always appreciate it. When you're in this particular part, I mean, school has just started. What's it like in terms of anticipation for you, the coaching staff, and the players?
Yeah, it's different now than it used to be, just because we have the summers, and so it doesn't feel. It used to be a lot more exciting because it was brand new, and it's just not brand new now. We've been together, we've just been together for a long time, and so I think them getting back, we're excited to get back with each other, but. We've been going 8 weeks already. Now it's 11 weeks, and so they're excited to get to practice. Is what they're excited to get to. They're kind of tired of going through these 40-minute or hour workouts. I think we'll get to that. They've just given us plenty more time. I like it because it allows us to shorten up practice time. We don't have to try to cram it all in. So I think it keeps the guys healthier as well.
30 years in and 1 year in at Southern Illinois and the Valley. And college basketball, of course, is always evolving with all of the different things we have now, free agency and so forth. How have you had to adjust? What have you learned in the last year, despite the fact that you've been doing it for so long?
Well, yeah, it's a big adjustment, and I'm not crazy about it. I'm not convinced it's what's best for the kids. I guess I could not be crazy about it because it's harder for us, but it's hard for everybody. And so, I think in that respect, it still levels the playing field. But things are different now because and people could say it just comes down to who has the most money. I don't think that's still always the case. Whoever spends the most money in all the sports doesn't always win. And so you have to figure out how to obviously have some NIL and raise those funds. But also, I think you have to learn how to spend them well, find people that fit into your system. And that, to me, that's even more important. But we're still trying to swim upstream. And I think because we're still trying to recruit freshmen and keep them. There's a lot of people that say you can't do that. I think it's what's best for them, so I'm going to keep fighting that fight.
Yeah, you've been landing some good ones, by the way. We'll talk more about that later on. How different is this spring and summer from last spring and summer?
Well, for me, if you're asking how different is it for me, it's a lot different just because I don't, trying to move and have a staff that hasn't worked for me before and coaching 13 guys I've never coached before. Just all the things that were so different last year. We have a staff that is established now, and every one of those guys is back. We have 6 players that are returning, and so I have to do a lot less teaching. I don't have to worry about moving and doing all those things, the other stressful things that go along with changing jobs. And so it's been much easier for me. I think it's been easier for my staff too as well. They know what kind of guys we want to recruit. They know how to teach all the drills and things we're looking for now, where I had to do all of that last year. So I would say for me personally, it's been a lot easier.
Near the end of the season, or maybe after the season ended, you received an award from FCA, the Barnabas Award. Talk about that, what that meant to you, and maybe how that came about.
Well, I think it came about because one of my assistants put me up for it. And I don't know exactly how I feel about those things. I certainly appreciate them, but I'm not in this business. To garner awards. It's nice to be appreciated. I would care more, if my players felt that way versus, just getting something like that. But I appreciate it. It really is my desire that I could live out my faith with my staff, with my players. I don't always do it really well. And so, sometimes I feel like a big hypocrite when I get an award like that. But, I still appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations on that. It's a high honor. a lot of people think Isaiah Stafford's going to come in and become the best player in the Missouri Valley Conference because he was so good at Valpo. And I think the Blue Ribbon people have put him on the first team all conference preseason, list. How healthy is he? We know he's good enough. How healthy is he?
I mean, he's healthy. I think with anything, when you have a serious injury like that, it's less about the injury and more about the mental piece of getting over it. I think he's still continuing to work through that. There are days just like any of us that he has pain, and so he's working through some of that. But he's had a really good summer.
Talk to me about maybe how as you mentioned, you've got 6 guys coming back and obviously a large number coming in as well. What are the tools? What are the processes to getting them all gelled together, blended together, and finding their spots?
Well, it's the challenge that every coach has now. It's almost a brand new team every year. And if you can fight to keep 6 guys, that's a big deal. And so, but being able to meld those guys together and and have just a big team piece where it's about the team and not about the individuals, I think is the biggest challenge for all coaches. They're all making different amounts of money. They're all, there's all these things that really make it more difficult because the players know now, the fans are going to know, everybody at school knows, and so all of these things become more difficult. And so we work hard at it, we really do. But I want the players to understand, that we're going to play the best guys, the guys that fit our system the best. I think they know that. And so we work at it. There's several team activities we do, some fun, some that are very difficult, where the only thing they would agree on is how much they hate the coach. And so at least we get them to agree on something. So there's several ways to do it. We've been working at it pretty hard.
We're going back to Isaiah for just a minute. 16, 17 points a game at Valparaiso. Is he a guy that I'm just going to plug him in? He's going to get 17 a night. Is that kind of the anticipation you have from him?
No, and I don't want him to feel like that's what's got to happen. We've asked our guys to count their value to the team. That's how good a defender they can be. And if they can be a good defender, then they can be on the floor to score and do the other things they do well. I think so many of these young men now are they get their pats on the back and their attaboys for how many points they score. I mean, that's the reward. That's what everybody wants to know about when they call home, how many points, all those kind of things. And so that tends to be their motivation is if things aren't going well offensively, then they're not going well. And we don't want them to think that way. And I don't want Isaiah to think that way. I want him to be a great defender. We already know he's a good offensive player. I don't have to worry about that. Neither does he.
When I think about guys, the 3 of the guys you have coming back, Mayo and Steffi and Sykes, they may or may not be the greatest, most talented players on your squad, but they're valuable in so many different ways. All 3 of them remind me a little bit of each other.
Well, this summer they've been our best players. They really have, and so a lot of people might look at them and go, they're not your most talented, and they're probably not. But they've had great summers. They don't have to think about what does coach think about this or what's this drill. They can just play, and I think that helps players. And I think the continuity that they have coming back this year gives them a lot of confidence. Davion's had a great summer. They all have. They've all had very good summers and have been our best players. And so they have a leg up on everybody else, even if you just went one-on-one, I might not beat this guy, but in a team concept, these guys have been very good this summer.
Yeah, players that are winners seem to know how to win, right? I mean, is that something that you really do see in certain players?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look, and you could say, well, look at all the people they've had around them when they've won. But, some people just have winning in their DNA. They know what it takes. They'll do whatever they have to do within the rules. And sometimes if they have to bend the rules a little bit, they'll do what they have to do because they like to win. And I, those are the kind of people I want to be around. That's how I am. I've had to I've had to remove myself from family games sometimes because I'm not in it to have fun. I'm in it to win it, and that's the only time it's fun for me. And those are the kind of people I want to be around. Those are the kind of people we want to recruit. And so, yes, it's. I think some people just know how to win and do what it takes.
You have some new players, some of them the freshmen we talked about a minute ago, but House, Hawkins, and Prince. Tell us about those three guys in particular. They come to you with some solid college experience.
Well, House, House and Hawkins in particular give us much more depth at the point guard position than we had last year. Obviously, when we lost Elijah 5 games in the season, we played without a point guard for the rest of the season. A true point, and had to maneuver a bunch of people in there. Finally settled on Kennard Davis, who is not a point guard, but had an opportunity to develop some skills there. But Kelron gives us good experience there. He played on a team last year that won 20 games, started as a point guard, so we know he's a winner. Caden, same thing, has played on a national championship team. Obviously, his dad played here. He grew up. I would say of all our players, this could be a dream spot for him, and we know that he's going to fight and give everything he has for Southern Illinois. That to me, that's immeasurable. And then, Prince obviously has played at the highest levels, has a lot of experience, has got a major league body, a major league athlete, those kind of things. And so, we're looking for big things from him too. But again, when we say looking for big things, I think most people view that as points. And I don't view it as that. I view it as doing whatever it takes to help us win. All of those guys, we need people that can dribble. That's the one thing I noticed when our guys first played, is that we can actually dribble this year. We couldn't dribble last year. We didn't have a team that could really handle the ball. We're in a much better spot this year for that. We could sustain really an injury at any position and we'd be okay. I don't know if we would lose anything, where last year that was not the case.
Prince played 3 years in the Power Four conferences. We talked about winners making a difference, but a guy that's played at that level and faced, some of the best players in the country night in and night out, that has to be helpful as well.
It is. I think you could get caught in the trap, if you were Prince, of thinking, oh, well, I played at these high major levels, coming a step down, I'm just going to dominate. And, he's smart enough to know, obviously having his brother here, having Rollins here, he knows how good a player you have to be. And I think he could let your guard down and think this is going to be easy, but he knew that it wouldn't be. He's working hard on his game. I think some people have pigeonholed him at always being kind of a small ball four, but he's worked hard on his perimeter skills. I mean, everybody wants to expand their game. But I also don't want him to go away from what he's very good at. But he definitely gives us a weapon where I think he can make the biggest difference for our team is on the defensive end and the rebounding.
It's a big deal there. You've got more size this year than last year. You recruited some taller guys. Can you talk about your bigs a little bit?
Yeah, we again, I said that we could sustain an injury at any position, but we're returning Jaheim Weber, who redshirted for us last year. He's had a great summer. Jorge Moreno, came back to us this summer in great shape, and so there's 2 centers. Jaheim didn't play last year. Jorge didn't play a lot for us, but we expect both those guys to play. A lot of center position for us. Max Picard coming from St. Louis, who, we list him at 6'11". He's actually 7 foot. He's one of the few guys that I know that wants to be listed under how tall he is. Most guys want to be listed much taller than they really are. But Max I would say he's a legit 7-footer. He's a really good athlete. He's quick. Again, we think all those guys defensively can help us. They give us versatility. They give us depth at those positions. Rollins Aligbe can play both the 4 and the 5 spot, and has some experience playing for us last year at both positions.
Yeah, Max, I watched him at St. Louis a number of times, and long gone are the days that when you just have a big, slow, tall guy that plays the middle. I mean, he's actually very athletic, but that's kind of the norm for the bigger guys these days, isn't it?
It is. I think they look at the pro basketball and the direction it's gone. And, it's that these bigs play out in the perimeter and can shoot jumpers, and there's not your typical back to the basket guy. I still like the old fashioned back to the basket. I like big guys you can throw the ball into and put a lot of pressure on the defense. And the defense has to figure out how to deal with him in terms of double teaming him, and he gets shots for other people. So I'm still looking for people like that. Max gives a little of both. He can play on the perimeter, he can play inside, but where he really helps is defensively. He can guard just about anybody because of his athleticism.
Yeah, I'm way more athletic than I thought he was when I watched him last year. Your schedule, I don't think the last time I checked, I've seen your schedule come out yet. How is that developing, and what can you tell us about it?
We're close. We're one game away from being done. I'm not crazy about the schedule. We have 5 true road games, which I would guess nobody else in the league does have 5 true road games. I think it's, we're kind of making up for 2 years ago. They played eight non-conference home games, so we're having to make up for some of that. And so it's a challenging schedule for sure. We have 4 home games, 5 true road, and then an MTE. So it's going to be about as challenging as a schedule as I've had as a coach.
Makes it difficult, doesn't it? I mean, you're trying to blend everything together, and then all of a sudden, and also have to hit the road so often, and
it's
obviously in tough places.
Yeah, tough places, and it's east to west, north to south. We're all over the place, and the travel's not going to be easy. So it's very challenging, but it should prepare our guys. You always would like to put a schedule together that can have some balance and give your guys confidence as you go in. I'm not exactly sure that this is a schedule, but we feel like we do have a team that has depth and can handle some of this. And we have 5 seniors. We have guys that have a lot of experience in college basketball, so we should be prepared for it.
When you look at that non-conference time period, you're a competitor, like you said earlier. You want to win every game. But is the non-conference more about developing your team chemistry, and preparing for the conference, or, is every game life and death?
That's a good question. I mean, to me, every game is life and death. I mean, I want to win them. I do. And, but I think, when, again, as you bring all of these new guys in, we have 8 new guys. A lot of teams have much more than that. It's still trying to piece all it together. I think most teams at this point, however they start and however they plan to play guys off the bench, will probably be way different than what it looks like at the end of the year. I think all those teams are going to have to figure that out, and that'll be the challenge for us. I think as I look at it now, there's probably 9 guys that could start for us. And the fact of the matter is that means 4 of them won't, and that means 2 of them may not play a lot. And so and even within that, there could be of those other 5 guys that they could work their way in there. So it's as deep a team as we've had. And I've been coaching a long time, and I'm not just saying that. It is a really deep team. I told you we could sustain an injury at any position. I really believe that. So it's going to be a challenge for the coaching staff. One, to figure out how we fit that together, playing big, playing small. But I think 2 is dealing with the frustration of the guys that aren't playing, that you can still keep them involved. And I say it all the time that it's not my job to keep guys happy. It just isn't. But it is my job to still check on guys and make sure that they're engaged in those kind of things and help them through those difficult times. And I think we're going to have some good players that are going to struggle because they're not going to play as much as they want to.
You talked about wanting to still recruit freshmen, and you have a number of them on your team this year. Kevin Walsh is a good friend of mine. Talk to me about about Luke Walsh and how he's faring through the summer and now at the beginning of the school year.
He's doing great. I think initially it was, a big jump for him, and he struggled, because he gets his notoriety for shooting the basketball and making shots. He didn't shoot it well early in the summer, and then I would say that the last 4 weeks he really shot it well and has made that jump. But the one thing you don't have to worry about Luke is how hard he's going to work. I mean, he works extremely hard. He's extremely tough. Great attitude he's the first guy in the gym every day. He loves to shoot. He loves to put the work in. So I don't worry about Luke at all. I really don't. I think, just his work ethic alone is going to carry him a long way.
How difficult is it, Scott, to recruit those freshmen and then in this new environment hold on to them long term, if that's even 2 years or 3 years?
It's not easy, but we recruit them that way, talking to them about that. And it used to be that they would leave if things weren't going well. Now they leave either way. If things aren't going well, they leave. If they're going really well, they leave. So I just don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. We're trying to recruit the kind of guys that we think want to be Salukis and want to be here and want to stay here and develop a legacy and get their picture up on the wall. I think that's one of the things you'll see as this goes along. Nobody's going to break records anymore. Nobody's going to have their picture on the wall because nobody really feels like they belong anywhere. And we want guys that feel like they belong in Southern Illinois.
Before I let you go, you mentioned the continuity of your staff from one year to the next, a big deal. Talk about what your coaches bring collectively. And I've been asking a lot of coaches, we see a lot of coaching staffs heading toward more of a football model. You've got an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, those kinds of things. And I remember last year you handed the defense off to, I think it was Coach Hawkins. But talk about the structure of what you guys do and what your coaches bring to the table.
Well, we'll continue with that this year in terms of the defense. Coach Hawkins has that. Now, I'm responsible for all of it. And as much as people probably think I'm more of an offensive-minded guy because my teams have scored a lot of points, I am a defensive-minded guy. I mean, that's what I think about first, that and rebounding. Those are the stats that I go to. That's where my mind goes. Those aspects of the game to me are the most important. I do give our guys a lot of freedom offensively, and we're aggressive offensively. I'm all about that. But Hawk has done a good job with the defense, and so it's allowed me to pay attention to a lot of other things as well, and kind of freed me up. But when you look at our staff, and I haven't looked at other staffs, but just with Steve and me alone, we've got 60 years of head coaching experience in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have, a combined 7 NCAA tournaments as head coaches. As an assistant coach, I got to go to a Final Four. I took several teams in Division II to the NCAA tournament. I have assistants. Javon, at Loyola went to a Final Four, and Tay Gibbs went to the NCAA tournament with me, and Willie Beasley played in a championship game when he was at Butler. And so we have so much NCAA experience, and as much experience as Coach Hawk and I have, we always say this, that the strength of our staff are the younger guys, and because they put in the developmental work, the kind of stuff to me that's so tedious and wears me out, because I like to go 5-on-5, but these guys are in the gym most of the time. With those guys, helping them develop, and so I think that our younger guys are the strength of our staff.
Appreciate your time today. Appreciate what you're doing and the way you're trying to do it. So thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you.
That's head coach Scott Nagy of the SIU Salukis. They're going to be better this year. It's going to be fun to watch that deep team. Appreciate you folks watching today. Remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.